Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about the patio. Yay! So the patio project started when I got a postcard in the mail saying that our city is doing a free dumpster, and they gave a day and time to sign up for those. I tried to do this last year, but all the spots had been claimed when I tried to sign up. Not this year, though. I stayed up till midnight when the sign up started, and I got my spot. You've just seen what my patio looks like now, and of course, it is a mess. But let's go ahead and start this. This video is a collaboration with Bonnie at A Beautiful Mess. I love working with Bonnie. She is amazing. She's my superhero. And I also got some help from Lisa and her husband. Lisa has been helping me at the house. I'll talk more about her in a bit when we get to some video with her in it. Right here, all I am doing is I'm getting out some tape and I am marking anything that can go out to the dumpster when it arrives. I wanted to make sure that I had lots of things marked. I wasn't able to mark everything all at once because there are some things that are kind of piled up behind each other and I couldn't access everything, but I wanted to mark a good section of them. This is probably a good time to mention that technically this is part 2 of the patio because I did a bunch of work on it in 2021. And back then I was able to get a free dumpster from the city, and I hired someone from TaskRabbit to fill it up, but in the meantime, I had some friends come over and help me, and then I did some work on my own, just going through stuff, because when I moved in here, there was not enough room in my house for all of my belongings. A lot of it was just left out here to languish for years and years. Oh, sigh. I did lose some things from nature and just being exposed to the elements, but I got rid of a lot of stuff. I found some other stuff that I then brought in, and I filled the dumpster. It was wonderful. There was still a lot of stuff that had to be done, but that was a problem for future me. In this video, I am future me trying to figure myself out. I thought maybe I could entertain Colt by throwing a toy or two, but he was just not interested in that because there was too much going on. And you'll see here that Bonnie and her son arrived. They were the muscle when it came to moving stuff around. Now, the dumpster had not yet arrived, but they did go ahead and move everything that was marked with tape over to the side right by the door to the gate. The gate was originally open, but I have 2 little wanderers, and Bonnie had to go in search of clay. So she brought Clay back, and he was just in her arms as she's carrying him back. My little old man. Instead, we shut the gate and just decided that I would bring the boys inside when the dumpster actually arrived. That ended up being a pretty good plan, so we went with that. I'm trying to just sweep all the leaves. This patio does get very leafy. I'm sorry for the parts of the video where nothing is actually happening. I tried to delete them from the video, but my program was having none of that. I don't know what is going on. I mean, I am using an old outdated program that is no longer being supported. So I guess there is that. I need to use something else in the future, but it's just really hard to think about switching. So, very sorry anyway. Let's talk about the plans that I had for some of this stuff. I was thinking I would just have a huge bookcase sale and drag all of those things out to the front yard, do a yard sale type of thing. And, that never happened in between 2021 and now. So some of them just are not in any kind of shape to be sold or donated. It definitely taught me something about plans and how it's important to know if you'll actually get to your plans. Things that involve a lot of physical effort, I am not going to get to. That's just how it is right now. I should clarify that, yes, of course, I'm doing some physical labor. Here are Bonnie and I bonding over t-shirts. She was showing me her great shirt, and I hope she'll talk about it in her video. I think she probably will. Anyway, of course, I'm doing some things that require labor. That's what this channel is about, is going through my house. But, it's a little at a time, and dragging a bunch of bookcases out to the front yard is very different than that. I always love hanging out with Bonnie. It's always great to see her, and we always spend a lot of time talking and catching up. And here you can see I'm kind of resting in between my bursts of energy. One thing that is good, if you can say that, about the fact that I wasn't able to delete any of the downtime from this section of the video is that you can really get a better sense of how my cleaning and my energy level really is. I work a little, take a break, work a little more, take another break. That's just how it goes. I love seeing the boys running around at fast speed. I don't know what story Bonnie was telling me, but those hand motions were awesome. I love it. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the stuff that I'm going to be keeping. I am keeping this bistro table. It's actually my first ever kitchen table, and I bought it even knowing that it was an outdoor table, but I loved the design, and my apartment was not that big, so it fit perfectly, and yeah, I love it. It's gone with me from apartment to house, and then now it's on the patio. There's also this giant beanbag thing, a beanbag bed that I got for my guys. Cupid was never super fond of it. He did get on it on occasion. I remember one notable occasion where I was the victim of his love attack, and believe me, I was a very willing victim. But the picture's pretty funny. I bought this during the pandemic. I was thinking I would spend loads of time out here, and I did spend a lot of time out, but yeah, he never really enjoyed that. Clay does get on it, and Colt, of course, uses it as a springboard. He also hides some stuff out here, which is pretty funny. I think Bonnie found a few of his outdoor layers where he, takes his treats and hides them. Oh, such a funny guy. It makes me wonder a little bit about his life before me, if he felt like he had to hide food and stash it in places so no one would find it. I do find dog food and shoes in lots of weird places. So they are continuing to carry stuff out. Yay, look at me getting myself back in the frame here. I'm like, okay, I gotta show what I'm doing. And I'm pretty much just sweeping up stuff. This is an area where I had a big plumbing issue and they ended up needing to redo some of the plumbing. So they dug up part of the patio. That big window is showing the spare bedroom. Oh, and another thing that I'm keeping is this little love seat. It's an outdoor love seat out here. It's not super sturdy. I was kind of sad. It's rest time for me. I love seeing the boys. There's like a little brick path that runs alongside the house, and the boys love to run across that. That was one of Cupid's favorite things too. And whoa, I'm really sorry if that made anyone dizzy. I've decided to move over here. I've got more taping to do now that some things have been cleared away in front of them. So I'm just taping stuff up so that Bonnie and her son can help me out with those. I'm just so grateful. They did so much work, and it's work that I would not have been able to do myself. And now we are clearing out some other things. I am still taping. That does help make things easier so they know what can go and what cannot. I am keeping the bricks that are on some of these shelves. They were left over from a different project that I did. And these two shelves contain books that are for my little... Let's take a break from the patio to go to the front yard. Bonnie introduced me to Lisa a couple of months ago, I think. Time, who knows what it is. So she has been coming and helping me with some of the maintenance, especially in my bathroom and my kitchen. When she found out about the dumpster, she reached out and said, "Hey, do you want some help filling that? My husband and I can come help." And I said, "That would be great, thank you." And so they did some tree trimming because the front trees are very robust, let's say. And the branches do hit cars that go in the roundabout, and it would be nice if that weren't the case. I did get the trees trimmed, last year, I guess. But it was only because the city came by and was like, "Hey, there's some trees going on the wires, and we'll cut those down for you." So they just limited it to whatever interfered with the wiring. It was a tremendous blessing to have them come and do all of the branches. And yeah, there's a lot of greenery that ended up in the dumpster as well, because my city unfortunately charges extra for a recycling bin for trash and branches, not trash, for branches and grass and so on. It was even raining throughout the day for the first part of the day, and they were, I'm sure, just getting completely soaked, but they were happy to do it, they said. And I was happy to have this work done at last. I had the dumpster from Friday to Tuesday, and that meant that there was time to do various projects like this over various days. And they did come, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 days, but I know it was at least 2 to help me. They did a lot of trimming and such in the back as well, which was also pretty great. And you'll see that later too. I know it's preferable to cut trees in the early spring, but I didn't have the dumpster in the early spring, sadly. So this is what we were left with. Now, the day before, I was working out in the patio and doing a lot of work. I had gotten some mowing done. They didn't do the whole backyard because there were lots of, sadly, branches back there, but we'll talk about that later. What you need to know is that I'm allergic to all things in nature. I'm allergic to all types of grass except for one. I'm allergic to a variety of trees and bushes. It's hard. It's hard. Eventually, I just got overwhelmed by all the grass that was stirred up by this and pollen and who knows what else. And I just retreated inside. I couldn't deal with it. It's really been a bad summer for me when it comes to allergies. You can probably hear that I am kind of stuffy even now. I struggle sometimes with people helping me. And I don't say this because I want people to say, oh, you deserve it or whatever. The point is, I feel like other people probably struggle with this too. And so I want to mention it so that those people know that they are not alone. But I do sometimes feel like, why are you helping me when you could be helping other people, or you could be doing stuff for yourself? Sometimes that inner voice that says that can keep you from asking for help. And in my case, I was really blessed that I didn't even have to ask. I simply posted about how I had a dumpster on my channel, and both Bonnie and Lisa reached out and were like, hey, do you want help with that? All of this started because I found out that Bonnie lived near-ish me. I'm a bit of a drive. It could be further, certainly, but it's not super close to where she lives. But all of this started because I decided to take a chance. I reached out to her, and so many amazing things have happened for me because of that choice. They might say no, and that's hard and scary, but it doesn't hurt to try. If nothing else, I love decluttering alongside you. I've heard lots of times from viewers that you will put on my videos and we declutter together. I love that. It's a very, very beautiful thing. And now Lisa is cleaning off all of these flowers that have fallen from the tree. I love that. I appreciate that so much. They have been getting on my shoes as I go out. But now I don't have to worry about that anymore. Look at all of those branches in the in the dumpster. The things that were put in the dumpster were not supposed to go above the top of it. And we ended up, well, I say we, no, Lisa and her husband ended up going in there and smashing down the branches so that more branches and other things were able to be put in there. And again, that's something I'm grateful for because I could not have done that myself. If I am in the dumpster, I am never getting out again. I would not be able to do that. Let me do a quick follow-up on something from the last video, and that is that my air conditioning is working again. The turning it off for 24 hours to let it unfreeze that did the trick. When the first time this happened was probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I did actually hire someone to come over and take a look at it, and that was their suggestion. They said, if this happens, try this first. If it doesn't work, then call us. Well, it's working, so we are no longer melting in the house, which is really great. We did have fans going, so there was that, but I'm grateful that's over. Let's go on to the side of the yard. Where we are here is right next to the front door. And look at this jungle. Oh my goodness. Oh. So this is the area that hadn't really been mowed because it was very hard to get to with all of these branches that fell from the neighbor's tree. So you can see where the mowing stops and the rest of it begins. And here is Lisa's husband saving the day. He did a great job at tackling this area of the yard. Now, I had intended to be outside so that I could turn the camera as needed throughout this sequence, but you can kind of see why I didn't, and that's because lots of grasses and lots of seeds and lots of green things are being moved around. It's not his fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's just because I'm allergic to all of life out in the world, or at least all of the green things. Allergies are no fun, so I do want to do a shout out to all of the people out there who have these allergies like I do. My yard really did feel like it was turning into a jungle, and I'm so glad to have it resembling something a little bit more normal. Normal is what we're after here. I'm starting to feel excited about spending time out here again. I mean, after all the dust has settled, after all the grass has settled. It's super hot right now, but I should be able to go out there in the mornings at least. Hang out with the pups, my curious little guys. Colt is doing pretty good at meeting new people. I think it helped that they were doing work, and so he felt like he could kind of check them out while they weren't paying too much attention to them. And then, of course, he had to come over and see what was going on. He was very safe here. Nothing was running at this point. Oh, what a little cutie. During a break that everybody took, he was coming over and booping people on their hand or leg and giving kisses. It's great to see him get more and more comfortable. All of these branches fell from the neighbor's tree. They actually knocked out the cable about a year and a half ago, something like that. And then even now there was another branch hanging from the cable. I'm surprised it hadn't knocked it out again, but thankfully not. Now that all of this is done, I would like to get my sprinklers repaired. There's got to be a leak somewhere because when I have had the sprinklers going in the past, I've ended up with water bills that are $300 or $400 just from regular sprinkler use. And the other thing I'd like to do is kind of a grass weed and feed so that I can get rid of all the weeds, because I've got a ton of them and they're just mixed in there with what little grass I have. Somewhere down the road I want to do xeriscaping again. I used to have that at my other house and I loved it, but that's going to be a task for future me. Now we are on the other side of the house, and we've got some little guys down there running around, and we have some people, Lisa and her husband, of course, and they are going to tackle some of these branches because, as you can see, they have been growing for quite a while. Clearly, I need to arrange to get trees trimmed more than once every 5 or 6 years. That would be better for them, I am sure. The boys were very interested in the proceedings, especially Colt. I think Clay might have been inside with me for a good portion of this, but maybe not. They did roam around outside a lot during this whole process. You'll definitely see this, I'm sure, when you look at Bonnie's version of clearing up the patio. I will make sure to add a link to that once she gets it posted. At the point of this filming, the rain had stopped, which was great because I was a bit concerned about having them out there when the rain was just pouring down. But Lisa was like, no, we're fine. She's great. You can see that there is a bookcase there against the fence. That is thanks to Bonnie. She looked at one of the bookcases and was like, I bet this could be a really great planter box. So she moved it over there, and we're probably gonna, when I say we, I mean Bonnie. To be honest, there's not a huge amount of we in this video. I mean, I did some stuff, but this task required a lot of physical exertion, and I simply can't do that. It's really amazing to see the trees coming into life, and just, I bet it felt so good. They're like, we needed that haircut. Oh. My whole yard really got a makeover. Maybe not quite a makeover, just a taming. There really was overgrowth everywhere. I couldn't have asked for better people to help me. Huge shout out to Lisa and her husband for coming over and helping me out, and to Colt for making sure that Lisa did what she was supposed to do. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I'm looking forward to seeing what Clay and Colt get up to in Bonnie's version. One more thing to follow up on. I am doing a bit better since last week's video. It's really helping me to spend some time with family and friends. It's so easy to just insulate ourselves, and I definitely encourage you to reach out if you're feeling lonely. I think that has been part of my issue. I'm going to be going out to dinner with a friend this weekend, so looking forward to that too. On the subject of friends, Lisa and her husband set up their own phone so that they could show the process of continuing to cut down some branches from these trees that are further on this side. We're sort of in the backyard, but more in the side area of the yard. Oh my gosh. While I'm recording this, Colt is up on the love seat, and he's hiding a treat between the back of the love seat and the windowsill, and he's trying to push the curtain down to maybe cover it. I don't know. It's the funniest thing ever. Maybe I could be a little bit meta and record this. Okay, I just took some footage. That will turn up in another video. I forgot to mention that it really was perfect weather for most of the time that we were working out here. I mean, there was the pouring rain period, but When Bonnie was helping earlier, it was like 70 degrees, and that was perfect. There was a breeze going. It made things so much easier. And then after the rain like stopped coming down in buckets, it got a lot better there too. It stayed kind of cool and nice. Wish it could always be like that for yard work. These days it is 90 plus degrees, and that is rough. I don't like it. I don't like being outside in that kind of heat. What's your favorite temperature for outdoor work? I would love to know, whether it's Celsius or Fahrenheit. I'm in a Fahrenheit kind of way. All right, so we have shifted angles, and now we are firmly on the side of the house. You can kind of see the gate as it turns from the wood to the white vinyl. And this is going to bring us to the end of this section, and we will get back to the patio itself, because there's more work to be done there for sure. Now we are back at the patio, going through all kinds of stuff. This really broken down bookcase. And I'm just coming in to sweep a bit. I found some scrapbooking stickers, which is that white thing. But, you know, they've been buried in all of this gunk. So I'm just going to throw those away as well. So many leaves. I look like I'm heading for a stupor. But I pick myself up and I keep going. Now, as we were going through things, there were many items that I no longer wanted or needed, but they were still in decent shape, and thus we didn't want to put them in the dumpster. So Bonnie had an idea of doing an online auction, and I said, that sounds great. I would love to have my stuff go to somebody. Make sure to check out her video. She's going to tell more about all of the details for that. So please go ahead and check her video out. Now that everyone has kind of moved, I am shifting over, moving my chair, getting out more of these leaves. I'm just scooping them all into a big pile. I hope I didn't accidentally sweep one of Colt's treats away. Poor guy, he's losing some of his hiding spots. I am sure he will figure out some new places. You can see that there are some random bins. They are bins that I didn't get to last time when I worked on the patio in 2021. So yeah, they've been there for 3 years, collecting more dust and so on. Many of them are still out there now, I have to admit, because I just did not feel up to going through a lot of things. And you can kind of see that in my demeanor right now. The stupor has set in, and I think I was starting to already have the allergy symptoms getting started. Oh, that is just no good, and I don't love it. Oh, but again, I rallied. That's how I roll. I do a little bit, rest, and then I do a little bit more. I'm piling up those leaves pretty good. I'm super grateful that Bonnie and her son came and were willing to do that heavy lifting part, because I could not have done it. Bonnie's video will show her and her son putting stuff in the dumpster, I am sure, so you'll be able to see that perspective. In the meantime, I'm gearing up here for another rest. That's what I did. Bonnie came along, and of course we talked some more. Who knows what we were talking about? We might have been talking about this chest back here. Now, this is a chest that my sister had, and when she moved out of my house, she's like, I don't need this anymore. And I was like, I would really love it. And then, yeah, it sat out here forever, and I was like, maybe it can go. The thing about furniture is there's room for it or there isn't. It's difficult to pack in furniture, even though I tend to lean toward too much furniture for one room. I just have had a hard time finding space for that. So I figured I'll sit during this and figure out if I am ready to let it go. But meanwhile, Bonnie brought a bin over to me and I started going through it. It's got a bunch of little seasonal signs that you put on your door, but the problem is that my door has a window in it. So these signs don't really work for me anymore. I'm gonna admit it kind of hurt when the purple wire rack went. That was a rack that I had for pattern paper, but the thing was, it had just been outside too long. It's very rusty now, and the truth is it didn't work for the way that I craft anyway. It was just a place for paper to sit and get dusty. My hanging folders are a much better solution as far as that goes. And yes, I'm taking a decluttering break by going for more leaves. See, I'm still kind of in the needing mindless work to do when it comes to decluttering. Here's where I found some Halloween decor. What says I love you better than a twerking monkey? So anyway, that is going to be going to the online auction. So make sure to check out Bonnie's channel so you can get all the deets so that you can get that twerking monkey all to yourself. Y'all know me. I'm going to have something that's kind of weird. But, you know, there's also lots of pretty and decor that anyone would enjoy. So feel free to check those out too. And they scooped up all of the leaves into a big bag. Super grateful for that. My eyes were getting dry and itchy, and I think my nose was even starting to drip at this point. Yeah, my allergies were not treating me well, but that's what happens, I guess. These bins had paperwork in them. There was another bin that had lots of stationery, and I wasn't able to let it go in 2021 because I wasn't ready to accept that I am no longer a letter writing person. A couple of these bins include lots of papers that I need to go through. Yay! Just what I always wanted, more papers. Not. There was another bin that had lots of stationery because for 30 plus years I was an avid letter writer. I wasn't ready to let go of that stationery in 2021, but I am ready now. It's okay. I can let go of the old me and move on to the new. And here's this charming angle where apparently I just wanted you to see my arm. Oh my goodness, look at Bonnie. Oh, she's like the Hulk, I swear. I am going to fix this angle here eventually, but yeah, it does take a minute. What is wrong with me? Oh, The boys are doing a great job of checking in on everybody, making sure that we're all doing whatever we're supposed to be doing. Oh gosh, those little cuties. I don't know where I am. Maybe I was in the bathroom. I kind of doubt it though, because the dogs usually follow me inside or out. So here's where Bonnie came across some other things I wasn't ready to let go of in 2021, and they were a bunch of prints that I had gotten over the years. So here I am. Okay, I guess I didn't fix this angle. Sorry about that. At least I am back in the frame now, so that's something. And we're just going through these, and I am letting go of these as well. I pulled out a couple of items that I thought maybe I could keep, some old memorabilia, but I end up letting that go too. I just don't need it. It's okay. Most of these prints have just been taped up since I moved here, and I have not used them. There's a map that I no longer need, and I am just gonna let it go. Letting all of this go to someone else who can use it instead. And look at my boys not being very aware that people are about to run over them. So I had to get some scissors to get into this poster. And when I did, I discovered it was some old memorabilia. But you know what? I'm letting that go too. You'll see what it is soon. Before my part of this video ends, I want to once again thank Bonnie, her son, and Lisa and her husband for helping me throughout this. I absolutely couldn't have done it without all of you. Thank you so very, very much. I wish I had more footage to show you, but I basically went inside and just collapsed from all of my allergies and energy expending and so on. Now for the big question, did I keep that wood chest? You'll have to check it out in the results. Meanwhile, I'm about to be the Pied Piper, and the boys are going to follow me inside. We are at the results. I am so happy to share them with you. So let's look at this sad place. My patio before. So much stuff that I had here. And a lot of it just damaged and sadly no good for anybody. We did save what we could, but there was a lot that ended up going. And now you are going to see the after. There are some boxes and some bins that I still need to go through. But there is so much room now. And yes, I kept that chest. I couldn't help it. I'm still not ready to let it go. In fact, I'm thinking of another spot where I could put it. Here's hoping I can make that work. It's going to be a problem for future me though. And here is everything that went. So many tree branches and lots of other things too. And I'm so grateful that I was able to get this dumpster for free from my city for their cleanup efforts. Really glad that they offer this annually. On another note, I've been struggling with having plates and trash on my kitchen counter. I felt like if I used the trash, it would be accepting the fact that My Cupid is gone, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Here we go. I might have another problem now, though. But that's a problem for future me, right? At least he hasn't been able to get into it yet.